Hey Clear Lake peeps, Ross England here with Clear Lake Guide Service with, we'll call it a conditions report for the week of April 21st. April 21st, 2022. I'm not going to be able to share with you a whole bunch of stuff about fishing because I haven't fished. So last week we were bombarded with the big WON Bass event, which was 150 boats. So got a little bit of information to share out of that tournament, but other than that, let's get to it. I came out today mainly to be able to get some current conditions, because last week I kind of had to rely on some other people. So I didn't get all around the lake. As you can hear, probably it's windy right now. You can probably see it in the trees behind me. But here's the deal. What I found was water temperature between 56.5 and 59.5 degrees in the areas mid-lake that I got into. I don't know what it's like, at the extreme upper end or North Shore or down below the island of Rattlesnake. I'm sure it's warmer than that, but it's been cold. Anybody can attest to that fished this tournament last week. It was anything other than pleasant weather conditions. So today we kind of got a little bit of a break, and then we're supposed to get some more rain. So anyway, those are the water temperatures. Water clarity, from what I saw, is, holding up surprisingly well. The areas that I got into here by the state park today, I could see 3 feet, 3.5 feet. And that was with poor lighting. Maybe with a little bit better lighting, I could see a little bit better. Obviously, anywhere that's up on this upper end that the wind is hitting, it's going to be stained up and may not be quite that good. And then I'm sure that the water clarity has held up down below the Narrows with all that rock down there. It just doesn't seem to get as messed up as it does up on this end. So I'm going to say that there really wasn't a whole lot of change in the water clarity since our previous report. Water level, lake level, for all the nastiness of some of the wind, some of the rain event, it didn't amount to squat as far as lake level is concerned. There's very little. One of the things that I really gauge what's going on with the lake beyond just our own creek, Kelsey Creek, whether it's running or not, and it never really got started. There's some water in it, but it's not really running to any big amount. Is as we're driving around off the lake, how much standing water is around, and there's virtually none. I mean, there's a puddle here, there's a puddle there, but what that tells me is anywhere that the rain did fall away from the lake, it's not going to run into the lake. It's just soaking in. So current lake level is at a positive 0.35, and it varies depending on the day and what time you look at it and how hard the wind is blowing. It could be as low as 0.25, it could be as high as 0.55, but let's just call it for today and say it's at positive 0.35, which is low. So those are the conditions. The upcoming activities: Saturday, BBT event. They normally draw big, so expect this Saturday to be well over 100 boat tournament. BBT is a Best Bass Tournament team event. Then Sunday, you've got an ABA, which the last couple events, 30, 35 teams, somewhere in that range. And then there's a permit pulled for Sunday and Monday, which is really weird. But there's another event called Bass and Tubes. So I'm going to assume that that's probably a Sunday event. So that probably running in conjunction with the ABA. So those are the activities that are going on this upcoming weekend. A couple little observations about last week's Big One Bass event. First and foremost, even with bad weather, you're in the middle of the spring, the middle of prime time, and big fish of the event was a 7-pounder. So you got 300 anglers fishing for 3 days, and no 8 or above showed up. That's not a real good sign. I think if I remember correctly, when I added it up, there were 4 7-pounders, 4 or 5 7-pounders total. There was 9, I believe it was 9 6-pounders. And then when you got down into the 50-pounders, or the 5-pounders, there was a bunch of them. And you know, that kind of echoes what we've seen since last fall and winter and late winter, early spring here so far, is it seems like a 5 or 6-pound fish is a big fish. But don't get me wrong, I'm sure that there's fish bigger than that out there, but there's a real barometer when you have pretty much 900 fishing days, between 300 people out there fishing for 3 days, and nothing shows up over 7.5 pounds. Something is definitely going on with the fishery. Real healthy with 3-pounders. And I think, you know, that's what most of us have seen, is that when you catch fish, you know, a 15-pound limit is kind of an average, which, you know, what a shame. We're certainly not complaining about a 15-pound limit, but it's not what people fish Clear Lake expecting to find. They expect, you know, every day you go out here, it's a 20-pound bag. So let's just keep an eye on what's going on. So those of you who have been here and left already for your once-a-year trip, or multi times a year that you get here, you didn't go away with a 9 or a 10-pounder, guess what? Almost everybody else is going away without one too. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get a better grip on it, you know, as the weather clears out here. It was bad weather last week, but even having said it was bad weather, there's still too many hours put with too many different kinds of baits, too many different types of structure that people are fishing, whether they're flipping or pitching somewhere or punching, or, you know, fishing deep rock piles and everything in between. I'm just telling you, something's amiss as far as the better fish are concerned. Haven't talked to anybody that's fished for basically anything the last couple days, so I can't really give you a fishing report, other than the few people I've talked to can't seem to catch any fish. So, and they're good enough fishermen that they should have. So I think that's probably my report for today. We had a week off last week because of the tournament. We had a week off this week because of a client who wanted to be here, and we both agreed that the conditions weren't the kind of conditions he was looking for. He wanted to sight fish, and I thought, yeah, that ain't gonna happen, not this week. So we just rescheduled that for somewhere down the road. So that will probably be it for today. One last thing, want to give a big shout out to my nephew Brad and his son Sebastian, who live in Florida and try to keep up with me on this video thing. So, hey guys, have fun out there. We'll talk to you next week.